Requesting everyone to please settle yourself, for we will begin in a moment. To formally start our program this morning, let us begin with an opening prayer, followed by the national anthem and the school hymn through an audio-visual presentation. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
I heal your broken hearts. If I could hold you in my arms, I'd call the soft breeze to caress your weary arms. I'd call the moonbeam to dispel this darkest night. If I could touch you, I would. If I could hear you, your words of anguish, if you'll just whisper in my ear, the sadness weighing down your heart that no man sees. If you just call me, I would sing, oh flaming hope. If I could hear you, I would. Lord, have I waited for you to hear my cry? Lord, have I waited for you to answer my plea? What you do to your brethren, you do it for me. I am in the brokenness and woundedness of man. Lord, have I waited for you to hear my cry? Lord, have I waited for you to answer my plea? What you do to your brethren, you do it for me. I am in the brokenness and woundedness of man. If I could touch you, yes, you can touch me. I heal your broken heart. I'm in the midst of your brethren with my arms. I'm in the weak and small. And call the soft your hands to bear your weary arms. And call the need your touch to dispel this darkness night. If I could touch you, yes, you can touch me. I would. If I could hear you, yes, you can hear me. Your words of anguish, if you'll just whisper in my ear, I'm in the weak and small. Sadness weighing down your heart, that lets my weakness. If you just call me your touch, I would sing, oh, lady, my wounded heart. If I could touch you, yes, you can touch me. I could hear you, yes, you can hear me.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
To the dearest administration of SMCTI, to the faculty and staff, and to our beloved Marian students, good morning and welcome to our institutional Marian Talk on mental health with the theme #Marian Talk, Remaking Mental Health by Listening and to Awakening and Inspiring Sacred Stories. This is Aurora Patrice Ofelia Husay, your Master of Ceremony. During second week of October, our country celebrates the National Mental Health Week based on the proclamation number 452 dated the 25th of August 1994. While the World Mental Health Day is observed on the 10th of October every year, this celebration is being done to promote mental health and to raise awareness on various mental health issues. In celebration of the Mental Health Awareness Month, SMCTI's very own guidance services organized a very special event that aims to commemorate this wonderful month, and to take part and provide a beacon of hope and be a light unto the mental health of every Marian student. And this morning will be an exciting one, for we will be listening to of relevant informations that will enlighten and encourage us to how we will deal and take good care of our mental health. So I highly suggest to everyone, make yourself comfortable and ready yourself, because what we will about to happen will be an exciting one. Now, without further ado, allow me to call the Director of Student Affairs and Services, no other than Mr. Klein M. Mamayabay, LPT MAED, for an opening remarks. Let's give him a round of applause.
To our school president, Sister Maria Marilubi Madronero, RVM. To the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Gina Oracion, LPT. To the Basic Education Principal, Sister Maria May Moran, RVM. To the rest of the deans and program heads. To the administrators, to our resource speakers, to all faculty members of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated, praise be Jesus and Mary. We always find moments in every year to improve our knowledge, opportunities, and processes to address the enormous unmet demand for mental health care and services in our institution, which is also a concern worldwide. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated an already difficult situation by increasing the demand for mental health services as well as the service gaps. Accessing mental health care has become even more challenging because of significant interruptions to vital health services around the globe. Furthermore, mental health awareness is an important issue for all educators who are often the first line of defense for their students, for our students. And education professionals like us have recognized the impact that students' mental health has on learning and achievement. And we realize that there is a great deal that can be done to help students with mental health issues. As the Director for Student Affairs and Services, I welcome the fact that mental health awareness is finally becoming an important part of our school's function and curriculum. It may not be that solid as we want it to be, but at least our school has already recognized its significance to our growth and development, and as well as the growth and development of our students. I hope that we will take time learning, relearning, and unlearning some concepts in relation to mental health awareness in the hope to provide healthy lifestyle for our students and of course to ourselves as professionals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Klein, for those encouraging words. Now, let me ask you all a question. Are you all ready? Because just like you, I am also thrilled to hear our speakers for today's event. So let's get into this. To introduce our first speaker, may I call into the stage our TEP psychometrician, Ms. Gina L. Rubilla.
Good morning, everyone. Praise be Jesus and Mary. Allow me to introduce our resource speaker this morning. She is a salutatorian during her elementary at Pagsilaan Elementary School, Pagsilaan Andap, New Bataan, Batch 2012. A class valedictorian, Batch 2019 at New Bataan National High School. Awarded as the most outstanding peer educator at Compostela Valley or Davao de Oro in 2019. A micro-credential program grantee at King Mongkut's University, Thornbury. Provincial Federation President, Secretary General on the Committee on Health, first Davao de Oro Youth Parliament, a member of Provincial Youth Development Council at Provincial Capital Compostela Valley. At present, she is a student of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated, a liberal arts major in psychology, and currently the year-level president. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our first resource speaker, Ms. Rose Faith O. Tinay.
To our online viewers and to all of you who are present here today, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. Let me begin my talk with a story. If who should be the one to die right now, it has to be me, because I always boil blood to their veins. Those are the exact words repeated by my friend Joff, who ended his own life. It was the year 2018 when I was shattered by the news that a friend of mine, not just a friend, but someone I consider a brother, ended his own life. Joff was such a typical student just like myself. But one thing is unique about him is that he loves music very much. He is very passionate about writing lyrics. He is very poetic and is very smart. He had composed many songs and many poems everywhere in his subject notebooks. I can even picture him as the male version of Taylor Swift, who writes lyrics everywhere. I remember one time teasing him that he might be the next popular artist or the next singer-songwriter who will top the music chart in the Philippines soon in this lifetime. But sadly, I can never witness all of those come to reality. And now, it has come to me that every hugot, painful lyrics he puts up constitute the heavy baggage he felt inside. Every verse is a cry for help. The incident puzzled me with lots of questions. At first, I took it as a slap on my face because why I haven't come to rescue a friend. But as time passed, I noticed that the incident led me to where I am today as a psychology major student. It took one life before I realized, yes, I am going to make my mental health a priority. It took one life before I decided, yes, I am going to be a committed mental health advocate. And yes, it took one life for me to realize before it sinked into me that it could certainly happen to anyone. Every 40 seconds, a life is lost due to suicide. This is according to the World Health Organization. The CDC also reports that the number of suicide attempts among young people has escalated by over 50% since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this is very alarming, something that we shouldn't turn a blind eye to or ignore. We all know that the pandemic has broke us all apart from each other. The surge in extreme mental health distress has left all of us, parents, teachers, students, even healthcare providers, scrambling to find an urgently needed help in a broken mental health system. Yes, we need to be equipped and educated on this because it could happen to anyone. It could happen to a dear friend, a coworker, a neighbor, church mate, and even to a family member. In my case, I lost a dear friend. Thus, we must be prepared and be willing to empty our cup to someone even just for once. I remember a friend saying, "I'm not up for it. That is not my job. Dili man na nako trabaho." Yes, I understand that we are not all mental health professionals. We are not all mental health advocates. But you do not need to be one in order for you to lend your ear and to extend your help to someone. We can work together. We can work to combat stigma and discrimination about mental health. You can listen and be with someone even if you're not a mental health professional. Because your mere presence, by just being there, can move mountains. People who are suicidal and struggling, I realize they don't need lectures and to be lectured. All they need is empathy. This is about heart, listening, and compassion. Now is not the time for us to be ashamed and to pass judgment. This is the time for us to cultivate kind understanding and empathic listening. And we can always start in our homes. We can speak about our mental health the same way, the same manner we talk about the NBA finals. Let us understand that self-care and self-love are more than just trendy terms. This is something we should practice and we should nurture within ourselves. Let it be known that hashtag mental health matters is more than just a hashtag, a fad, or a bandwagon that others are jumping on. Let us understand mental health simply as health and that it should be a priority because it matters. However, we couldn't deny the fact that sometimes we feel we are a burden. Sometimes we feel like there's something wrong about us and we are the problem. I know a lot can relate with the chorus from Taylor Swift's new single, Anti-Hero. And it goes like this. It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. I'll stare directly at the sun but never in the mirror. And Taylor Swift is right. It must be exhausting rooting for the anti-hero. If we keep on listening to the voices inside our head telling us, you are not good enough, you are a problem, you are a burden, then it must be exhilarating and debilitating, and worse, detrimental to our mental health. Therefore, let's create safe spaces and support groups for them. I cannot forget a classmate of mine expressed to me one time that for her, school is home. She found a home in school because she cannot feel it in their own home. And that the pandemic really suffocated her to the point she lost the drive to do any of her classworks. That time, I was really astonished and touched. Imagine someone like my friend is searching for home outside the comfort of their own home. Here at SMCTI, we can do that. We can create safe spaces and support groups like Teen Tambayan to listen, to commune, and to belong, and somehow to cater the needs of our brothers and sisters. Not just here in our school, but let's create safe spaces everywhere, in workplaces, churches, everywhere. If we see someone crying in public, then let's walk toward them, not walk away from them. We can use our words to help and uplift people. Let us decide to stand up for those who are bullied, ostracized, judged, unheard, and neglected. Because in most cases of suicide, they don't want to end their lives. They just want the pain to stop. They don't want to lose their lives, but they just want it to be found, and we can be their guiding light. Now, if you're listening to this and you feel like you don't want to live anymore, I need you to listen to me even just this once. Yes, we might be unable to take the pain away. We might not understand what you are going through. Dili na mo matugkad kung unsa na imo ang giagian. But we can help you. Know that help is always available. You can talk to a suicide hotline, a friend, a family member, or someone you trust. Who knows, a phone call could save lives. Who knows, a simple kamusta ka, okay ra ka, na ako diri, makasalbar tag kinabuhi, pinaagi ana. You can even call or check a loved one or a friend or a classmate today, and that's something, a challenge. Here in our school, we have trained individuals, the guidance family, spearheaded by Sir Ronald Ramos with Ma'am Meds, Ma'am Lian, and Ma'am Gina. With their capacity and professional skills, they can help us and assist us the best way they can. Based on my experience, they are very much willing, open, friendly, and accommodating. And I am encouraging every Marian student to reach out and seek help in case you need one. Lastly, I need you to understand this concept sincerely. You are not a burden. Instead, you are a wish granted. You are a wish granted to someone or to anyone. You are not the problem, but you are the solution. And one of the best thing we can do to prevent suicide is to really take good care of ourselves. One of my favorite author, Mitch Albom, said, when you are rotten about yourself, you become rotten to anyone around you, including your loved one. So never ever forget to take good care of yourself in order for you to take good care of others. Hold on to that tiny hope that keeps you going. Remember what keeps you going and stay. Stay not just for us, but for you. Stay for the best pizza and ice cream you haven't tasted. Stay for the sunsets you haven't seen. Stay for the concerts you wanted to attend. For the places you haven't explored. And for dreams you have yet to achieve. Stay because you will meet amazing people along the way who will love you. And we need you to be here. We need you to be here because you deserve the life that is waiting for you. You have your whole life ahead of you. And there is something we would miss if you are not here. Remember, there is something we would miss if you are not here because you make a difference. We all make a difference. Once again, good morning. I am Faith, and I have faith in you that you will overcome whatever it is that you are going through. May God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tinay, for those emotional steering talk. Indeed, mental health should always be a priority for all of us. And it costs us nothing to be a help for those in need. To our online listeners in here in the live in the mini theater, I hope we're still up for another speaker for the day. May I call on Ms. Chrislian Marie Broca, our BEd psychometrician, to introduce us to our second speaker.
Once again, good morning, everyone. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our next resource speaker for our institutional Marian talk on mental health. She is an exemplary student who completed her junior high and senior high school with high honors. And during those days, she did not confine herself to reading books and solving problems. She equally got busy with being a campus journalist, a national schools press conference qualifier, and a Girl Scout patrol leader during the national encampment as well. Moreover, she is also a computer system servicing NC2 passer. Presently, she is in her third year in college, pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and was awarded an outstanding performance in return demonstration. A lady who has a heart for service, an angel of the sick room. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Maria Camila Julia Q. Palmahil. A round of applause, please. Good morning, everyone. Today, I will be sharing a personal experience, more like a testimony of how I redeemed myself during the pandemic. I grew up living a good life. My parents can fulfill the needs of the family. I have a doting brother and a sister who loves to follow me around. I was surrounded by fun and supportive friends. As a kid, I can't ask for anything more. I can say that I have lived a good life and it was picture perfect. Moreover, I am the eldest daughter, and I was nurtured to be responsible, to be understanding to my siblings, and also to be an obedient child to my parents. Since then, I have believed that maybe my purpose is to be someone reliable. Whenever I have an opportunity to help, I will never hesitate to reach a helping hand and do the best I can. It felt fulfilling to live your purpose. And it came to the point that it has been my source of validation, to be the first person they think that can help them. But when it comes to my own problem, I don't want to ask for help. What I do is I isolate myself, I close my eyes, and reflect. And I think of all the possible alternatives and solutions I can, and resolve it on my own. And I thought that was okay, because I am not giving my problems to anyone. And so the pandemic happened, and even at the height of it, we were sheltered. We were shielded from the world. But it all ended on last year's Independence Day, June 12, 2021, before the Saturday sunrise. My father was listed as one of the fallen heroes due to COVID. It was the same day that my world has ended. It was too heartbreaking that I did not even shed a tear for him. Because all I can think of is that I have my mother and my siblings that will rely on me. So I will not allow myself to mourn. I will not allow myself to grieve for him. Because I am also expecting that there will be a crowd watching me of how strong will I be, just waiting for me to fall. And it felt like the universe was actually mocking me. Because I have a lot of questions, but no matter how isolation and reflection I do, I cannot find the answers. First, I am a nursing student. And how can I not see this coming? Were the signs and symptoms were really not there? Or was I not paying enough attention? Did I just fail at my career and I did not even graduated yet? Second, my mother was very frail at that time, of course. She was diagnosed with anxiety and enlargement of her heart. When my father was buried, the first question she asked me, "Ate, magunsa ta?" And I couldn't watch the world crash before her eyes if I'll tell her that, "Ma, wala pud ko kabalo." So what I did was just I placed her on bed comfortably to let her rest. Well, I think of what should we do? Because as the eldest daughter, I should know how to help the family. Because if I won't, we will all sink down. And if that happens, will my sister still see me as a reliable ate? Will my brother still see me as her charming, bright sister? And where will be my purpose if I can't be someone they can rely on? Every day, these questions have become a reflection in the mirror. It puts me off knowing I am so helpless when I should be the one helping, alleviating the pain of the family. But I also don't want anyone to worry about me, so I have to hold it in and remind myself that everything is under control as long as I will not break down. And I lie to myself that I don't have any need for healing because there are no wounds. And what should I do is just to focus on school, monitor my mother's health, and make sure that my siblings are coping up. Trying to be unbreakable from what has happened, I continued like everything was normal. I attended my classes, I talked with friends every day, and eventually my day is just composed of a smile and a lie. Lying was my antidote to the pain. I lied that school was great even though I was not being attentive. And I can't comprehend the lectures because these questions of self-worth are knocking in my head. I lied to my friends that I am emotionally and mentally available to listen to their stories and help them with their dramas. I lied to my family that I can juggle my time for them and for my studies. And I did not just deprive these people from honesty, but also myself. I lied to my own emotions that I can't feel them. I lied to my body that I am not hungry or that I am tired. And I lied all day. And I just want to fall on my knees and cry like any child who have lost their parent. Every time I want to open up, a question would cut me that, are they really care for me enough to listen? Because I feel like they would just tell me that I'm being overreacting or I'm sensitive or there was really no problem present at all, that I am the problem itself. You know, one time during the pandemic, I was having a conversation with a friend, laughing from the adulting mishaps and catching up from the BC college. And in the middle of our conversation, he told me, you know, I don't feel like I'm a good friend to you. That you don't need me as much as I need you. I was stunned by his question, but I was also able to ask him why he felt that way. And he told me that, I have already told you countless times that you can share your troubles with me, but you didn't. We were akin to siblings as childhood friends, and I can feel the world in your shoulders, but you choose to conceal them and lie to me. I thought I was doing these people a favor by not telling them how I feel, but it turns out that I am also hurting them by hurting myself. It actually took me 5 months before I was able to cry for my father and cry in front of my family and admit to them that I can't be strong. And that conversation with my friend was the eye-opener for me. I do things that make life easy for others without knowing that I am invalidating their purpose in my life. So I practiced communication, and I started with my family. And then also with my friends. They used to come to me for advice, but that time I was able to tell them, I'm sorry, but I am not mentally and emotionally available to cater you. And I thought they would leave me, but they didn't. They actually stayed and listened to me, give me a time to share and unravel how I feel. And I wish I knew sooner how powerful honesty and communication can be. It welcomed me to a whole new world I didn't know possible. It opened my eyes that we are not the only people here on earth because it was not designed to be roamed alone, but to be shared with everyone. So why are we hiding ourselves? Why are we not giving an opportunity to those people who genuinely love us a chance to see us wounded? And how long do we have to pretend that we are okay when we can just simply ask someone we wanted a hug? Today, I am no longer a prisoner of the false illusions I have created for myself just to prove my worth and my purpose of being someone reliable and strong. It made me feel more human and connected to the people I encounter every day to openly state my moods and troubles. By allowing myself to feel all these emotions that I have rejected, because I thought that being lonely, being sad, feeling anger would make me someone not reliable and weak. And I've saw a lot of people, my family and friends, just waiting for me to turn to them and break my walls. For a long time, I thought isolation and silence will get me through life successfully. But I am relieved to find out that it will always be okay to ask help and share these mixed emotions with someone you trust. It is alright to vent out how you feel and expect not to be understood in an instant, because sometimes it would take a lot of time and patience. Let us allow people in our lives to be part of our journey, to join us in seeking the meaning of life, and to serve their purposes too. The questions will always be there, making me doubt in every step that I make. And even at this moment, right here, I am asking myself, am I giving justice to your time listening to me? Am I making sense? Or if I was able to impart a fraction of my life that I believe will help others? The difference from these questions at present with the past is now, I finally figured out that these questions are not necessarily an individual task to answer and venture alone. If the answer is not found within me, then maybe it is a quest I have to do with other people. I spent my whole life searching for answers alone. And little did I know, these questions are what built the path for me to find my family and friends that are just waiting for me to admit that I also need help. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Palma, for that very heartwarming talk. Once again, let's give her a round of applause. It is indeed okay to be one who needs help. To be honest with ourselves that we're just humans too. We can be vulnerable too. And before we head out to our third speaker for today, mag-icebreaker muna tayo. Let's watch this short film entitled Kamusta Ka Na? Now, everyone, I want you all to smile and tap the person next to you and say, "Hi, everything will be okay." Did it feel good? Did something like this ever happen to any one of you? A random hi or smile, and you can't help to smile back. It feels good, right? It really makes a difference to our day. Makes you wonder how powerful a simple kamusta, hi, or smile can be. Let us be the beacon of light. Let us give these simple actions of kindness bigger meanings. And now, to resume, may I call Ms. Medlit Ladya, our BED guidance coach, to introduce to us to our third speaker for today.
So good morning once again. Our third speaker is senior high school grade 12 STEM student, a former Supreme Student Council business manager, was a member of the Assumpta School of Tagum Peer Facilitators Club, and currently the vice president of the grade 12 STEM D. Our third resource speaker, Ms. Medi Anthony A. Palero.
Good morning, everyone. Let me start my talk by sharing with you this fact, that according to Alfred, a person's attention span will only last for about 20 minutes. So, going by that, I will make my talk as short as possible, but meaningful at the same time. Again, I am Mandy Palero, and for this morning, I will talk about understanding on mental health. We probably know by now what mental health is, since it is widespread among social medias and events similar to this. But if not, let me show you its definition. Mental health refers to our cognitive, emotional, and behavioral well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. I believe that everyone has their own definition, views, and beliefs about mental health. However, for me, I see it as the foundation of our overall well-being and health. Why? Because everything and anything we do is affected by mental health. How we see things, how we do things, our emotions, our mood, our purpose, and much more. More siya, let's say, a domino effect, wherein mental health is the starting point. So for example, when a girl is mentally healthy, she will have this bright perspective in life. And when you have that perspective, you will make right choices, right decisions. You will have this sunshine aura within you because you're happy. You're free from negative thoughts, you're free from stress, and you're free from diseases. With that being said, why do we need to understand and gain knowledge about mental health? It is necessary for us to avoid this one: poor mental health. Mental health problems are health conditions that are categorized by alterations in thinking, mood, or behavior. Now, I want you to assess yourself. Just mentally think if ever this time around you're feeling this way or you're experiencing this situation. Number 1, poor concentration. And number 2, being easily distracted. This may occur due to factors such as stress, ADHD, or fatigue. Number 3, worrying more. Excessive and persistent worry and feel about everyday situations. Number 4, finding it hard to make decisions. You become indecisive. Number 5, feel less interested in day-to-day activities. You've become unmotivated and reduce interest in activities you used to enjoy. Number 6, low mood. Experiencing negative emotions such as sadness. And lastly, tearfulness, frequently associated with depression and anxiety. In today's time, especially when we progress in age, di jud nato is like inevitable in our life. Now we have to experience to be mentally poor. Yes, it's definitely draining, it's definitely tiring. You will question yourself sometimes na, why do I feel like this? Sometimes you will lose hope on overcoming it, and it feels like the world is against you all of a sudden. However, there is a saying that goes, there's always a rainbow after the rain. It means that once you overcome that storm, when you learn how to manage, to cope, and to face that difficulties, you will face that rainbow. And that rainbow is your valuable lesson. That lesson will make you grow and develop as a person. Learn to transform your weaknesses into your strength. Therefore, here are some things that you could do in order to avoid this and be mentally strong. Number 1, focus on the moment. So I think us individuals, we have this habit and mindset na when we look at our journey, we look at as a whole and not a process or steps. Na sige tag problema sa isa ka bagay na dugay pa man nun mo abot. It's like we're this, not the real, but our thinking is already in the finish line. We don't even consider the process. That's why ma-overwhelmed ta. And that's why we fear and we worry all the time. Instead, let us focus on one step at a time. Let us focus in the present because that's what matters the most. That's what matters the most in our current time. Number 2, embrace adversity. We need to embrace adversity as a chance for opportunity. Opportunity in building new perspective and build resilience. Number 3, exercise your mind. And number 4, challenge yourself. We need to train our overall self in dealing with difficulties, discomfort, and any situations in life so that di na ta mabaguhan ug makabalo na ta kung sa atong himuon. Number 5, responding positively. Learn to be optimistic in life, to see things in a bright perspective, and seek positivity amidst chaos. Number 6, don't be afraid by fear. Do not let our emotions get to us. And always remember that fear is temporary and part of the process. At the end of the day, it will pass by and you won't even notice that it's there. And last one is be aware of self-talk. Affirm yourself once in a while na, kaya na ko ni, o kayanon na ko ni. Have trust within yourself. And now that you have a guide on what you do, let us try as possible to integrate these things in our life. Kasi at the end of the day, kita maghihapon ang makabenefit ani. It will prevent us from experiencing mental health disorders, illnesses, kasi sabi nga nila, prevention is better than cure. Now, I'll share with you my personal experience in dealing mental health. So at first, wadi ko kabalon sa ng mental health. Like, makita na ko siya sa mga social media, pero di na ko gina-comprehend. Like, naalang siya daraa. So I was naive by that fact, by that information. Not until I experienced to be mentally unstable. I have this point in my life where suddenly I have this burst of sadness, this emptiness in my heart na unconsciously, why I was feeling that, I became unmotivated. And I self-isolate. I don't want to reach out to other persons. I just want to be in my room and rest. Kasi I can't seem to find that energy to socialize and communicate with other people. And the weird thing about this is I don't know why I felt that way. I mean, academically speaking, I was striving. My friends are great. My family is okay. So why am I feeling like this? So I have that confusion within me. And that confusion builds into frustration. I was frustrated in knowing na I don't know what to do. I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to find solution to this. Because at the first place, I don't even know the root cause. Kaya, for a long period of time, I was devoured by my emotions. I was blinded by it, and I became lazy, Jud. Like, what jud ko gihimo? It's like, I'm not myself anymore. I was a coward in facing my problems. But I came to a point na nakayon ko sa akong sarili na, Medi, you can't continue being like this. I actually have a choice. A choice to either sulk and be sad, or a choice to take actions. I have the choice to acknowledge that I am in this situation, or a choice to be blinded by it. And I decided to take matters in my own hand, and that is to take actions and find solutions despite uncertainties. So, how did I do it? I did it by, number one, open up with my friends. One of my coping mechanisms, Jud, is mag-rant. So, I rant to my friends, usually mga long message jud na. And the thing about this is they're not obliged to do anything. They're not obliged to even give me advices. I just want a person who will listen. I just want to feel na I'm not alone in this journey, that whenever I needed extra help, I know where to go, and they are my friends. Number two is listen to self-help podcasts. By listening to this podcast, I actually gain new perspective, new knowledge, and new ideas. I also realized na dili lang day ako ang naka-experience ani. Na there are a lot of people who are experiencing the same thing as I did, wherein they share their stories and share their ideas on how they overcome theirs so that I can overcome mine. Also, the podcast community is a wide community. So you will encounter hosts, guests that are professionals, psychologists, professional counselors, and a lot more. So it's like a free therapy session, and it's accessible to anyone. Number three is have a productive routine. Build a routine that will break the cycle. For me, since I have the isolation phase, my routine is built up on walks, morning walks, reconnecting with my friends, hanging out with them, having dinners with my family, talking with my family. And I tell you, I have never felt so alive after being alone for a long period of time. That I also realized na life has so much to offer if you will have the courage to see it despite difficulties. And last one is rest, but with discipline. I actually heard about this, that too much rest is actually a sin. It is a sin if that rest hinders you in doing the things you should do, doing the things that you want to do, and things that are right for you. Mahulog siya na sa sige ni mag-rest unconsciously is laziness ng tawag ana niya. That's why when you rest, have discipline within you. Because discipline is the tool that will let us know na, okay, you have to rest, but this time you will not rest. Learn when to rest and when not to rest. That's what discipline tells us to do. More siyang signal sa atong sarili na ingon na, okay, time's up, you have to do this. Even if you don't want to, but you have to because it's necessary. So you see, even if I conquered mine despite uncertainties and confusion, you will definitely conquer your as well. Now that we've learned what mental health is, makahuna-huna jud ta na it plays a big role in our life. A role that we need to give importance and attention to. It is significant because it impacts every area of our life. The importance of good mental health ripples into everything we do, think, or say. Being mentally healthy is one of the keys to successes in all aspects in life. Good mental health helps us to have a more positive outlook and enjoy our life more. Kaya, let's invest more in our mental health. I also heard this from one of the podcasts na, it's only when we've gone through tough times na we think about mental health. When in day-to-day basis, we don't even think about it, when it's supposed to be just as equal to physical health. Na nganong permita mag-isip on how we look, on our weight, then dili nato na siya mahimo sa atong mental health. It's like mental health is always a second option to us. Therefore, to my fellow students, teenagers, and people in general who are experiencing mental health problems right now, this is your sign to take actions. Ask for professional help if you want to, and always seek for your personal development. And if you're still confused, afraid, and indecisive on what to do, I want you to hear the statement and remember this statement as well. When you make a decision, choose the one that scares you, because that's the one where you will grow. That's where you will discover more about yourself, your capacity, your ability, and that's where you will grow as a person and learn. That there are no failures in life, but only lessons learned. And when something doesn't work out, you can always start again. But you're not starting from zero. You can start from experience. And that concludes my talk about mental health. I hope that you learn as much as I did. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Palera, for that very fruitful talk. The ways to be mentally strong is a checklist we should always practice for a healthier mental health. At this point, let us not waste a minute or two. May I call again Ms. Chrislian Broca to introduce us to our fourth speaker.
If you believe that you had learned everything there was to know from our prior presenters, then you were mistaken, because there is still so much to learn from our next resource speaker. I am delighted to say that she is a product of our beloved institution, where she also practiced her profession as a licensed professional teacher. She taught in the junior high school department for a decade, and recently she was appointed as a college professor. She graduated from college with a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in English, and also received her master's degree in St. Mary's College of Tagum. Moreover, she never seemed to tire from studying, because at present, she is pursuing her postgraduate studies at the University of the Immaculate Conception. Indeed, her passion and energy seem to know no bounds, as she has proven that learning is a lifelong journey. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce to you Ma'am Dinah L. Nival, LPT Maed, one of the women I know who inspires and touches the hearts of many. Let's give her our warmest applause.
I wouldn't lie and say, I am not nervous. I am. Every man has his secret sorrows and struggles, which the world knows not. And often, we call a man cold, when in fact, he is only sad and struggling. The same case can be said with people who are suffering with anxiety and depression. They suffer in silence, put up facade of happiness, sometimes aloofness, but in reality, they are fighting battles within. My respect to our school president, Sister Maria Marilu Madrinero, to our vice president to the Vice President of Academic Affairs, Ma'am Gina Oracion, to the program heads, my fellow teachers, students, online viewers, good morning. Standing here in front of you, bearing myself, would make me vulnerable for judgment. However, my fear of being judged is overcome with a desire to inspire. I regret why I have not prepared a speech. However, I trust in my experience that what would come out today is what I experienced. Who am I? I am Mrs. Dinah L. Nival, LPT Maed, teacher. If you may ask my student, who is Ma'am Dinah? Terror, strict, inconsiderate. Who am I? A mother, a very loving mother. Who am I? A wife, a devoted wife. Who am I? A woman trying to juggle many things that I wanted in life. There was a point that I am a teacher, I am a housekeeper, I am a student, and I am a person. Did I get tired? I did. So very tired. Now, my journey. What are my experiences? Life has been good, but there were also downside of it. There were mistakes I have committed, and of course, I suffered the consequences. What did I do? Pretended to be strong. Do I have a choice? I don't know, because in the past 8 years, I can only remember 3 breakdowns of crying. I have difficulty crying. I find it hard to cry. I don't know. And one of my greatest fault is that I demand perfection in what I do, at home, in every little thing, how the table is arranged, how the clothes are folded, how I write. And I see the very small mistakes in there, and that contributes to what I am suffering right now. I am diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. How did it happen? Years ago, I had many traumas. Seeing my dead husband from an accident at the morgue with all the blood running in his face, that hits me. But I was not able to cry. I just shouted. And my children are with me. Bira-bira sa akong sanina because their father was there. And all throughout the way, not a tear was shed. I did not cry. I cannot just cry. And after that, what's the impact? I fear crossing the street. Manggahi na ko pag mutabok kog kalsada because my husband died in an accident. Much more whenever I hear an ambulance, I panic. I think of my children. Where are they? Are they safe? On and on, there were times that's kahit magsakay ng tricycle, I am always on the lookout. It seems to me my body is tense. That whenever mag-break din ako. Something like that. Everything is tense. And that builds up. And a sign says, anxiety is contributed by 3 factors: biological, psychological, and life experiences. To which in mine, I could say, life experiences has played a great part in that. I tried to bounce back. Who would not want to? I tried all the means that the speakers had said, self-help. I Googled my condition. I conditioned my mind. I wanted to look on the every positive on other aspects. I talked with friends, everything. I watch movie, I read, but the physiological symptoms are showing. And what are those? Inability to sleep and to stay asleep. Another one, frequent headache. Frequent headache wherein, yes, taking paracetamol would, in a way, reduce the pain, but it would come back. Another one, feeling as if you are sick all the time. Something is always amiss with your body, and much more, the panic attacks. And worse, panic attacks is not scheduled. The panic attack would not say, oh, Dinah is in school right now, I'm not going to attack. There's no such thing like that. Panic attacks can happen anywhere. Do I have it in school? Yes, I have. Do my colleagues knew? No. How do I handle it? Sit, breathe, walk. But for how long? Of course, I manage. But the thing is, in managing the anxiety, it's taking so much effort in me and it has taken its toll in me. In other words, gikapoy nako og handle sa akong anxiety. So what did I do? I was in denial. Years ago, I do not remember what year was that. Maybe Sir Ronald can remember that. I already went to a psychiatrist. But after the first session, I said, I'm okay. I'm not going back. And it progressed. That was even before the pandemic. The pandemic happened, worse. The anxiety was even getting worse. And then on, then finally, I went back. Why? Everything has taken its toll on me. I have now tremors in my body, and the panic attacks are getting more frequent. Waking up at night, going to the bathroom, and when coming back to bed, you'd have your heart thud, 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 and then the family would be there. My daughter, my husband would rescue me, pislit asa, and then eventually it would just subside. Now, I fear it would happen again. And it did, but this time I'm not seeking help from them anymore because I have to be considerate. It's nighttime. So what do? Pislit sa kong kamot, breathe in, breathe out, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's gone. But the question is, how long will I do this on my own? And so, realization came. I owe it to myself to be well. I owe it to my children that their mama could function well. And I owe it to my husband. I owe it to everyone, to my students, that I'd be well again. And so I went back to the doctor, laid out all my cards, and said, I wanted help. He said, you have to help yourself. So here is my journey to healing. First, acceptance. You have to acknowledge what you have. Do not deny it. There are people I know who have this anxiety but refuse to acknowledge it. Why? Why do we refuse to acknowledge that we have it? Because of the stigma that it may bring to us. People will judge us standing here talking to you, people who are present here and online viewers. Your judgment, I cannot do anything with that. However, I have to own it and inspire others to speak up. Acceptance. We have to acknowledge, I have this. Yes, the world may have progressed in the way they see anxiety and other mental disorders, but still, there is the lack of education to other people. That's why they're giving judgment. Buang na siya. We are not buang at all. We just have anxiety, and the thing is, our coping mechanisms is not enough because we are not alike. Others may experience the same but will not amount to developing an anxiety. But for my case, I did. And I did it silently. If you have not known me, you wouldn't know I am going through something. Did you? Okay, acceptance. In one of my sessions, seated in there, discreetly for fear that other people may see me, may recognize me. Notice that one? My student approached me, nag-bless and said, "Hello, ma'am." And I said, "Hello, what are you doing here?" "Ma'am, it's been 2 years since I'm coming back in here. And never in my life did I ever had a hint that this student is going through something." Looking around those people with me, waiting for their turn to be catered, there is an engineer, there are teachers, mothers, fathers, people of the same profession, of other professions rather. They look normal, but they have in them that anxiety. Anxiety does not choose anyone, and only a handful seek help. Why so? Again, fear of being judged. So my journey begins with acceptance, acknowledging. And in acceptance, there is now calmness, peace, and strength that I would be able to go through it. Next one. I asked the support of my family. I talked to them. I have been to this doctor. He said, this is what would I do. These are the medicines I'm taking. And I said, I need help. And true enough, they embraced me, gave help. And I wish to thank them because my daughter is the acting mother in the mornings. It is she who would say, "Ma, 6:30 na ma, mag-eskwela ka pa." And when I wake up, breakfast is ready. My daughter has prepared it. And my son, just like you, is also a student who would frequently go out with friends. And I would say, "Anak, I need to sleep earlier. Please come home." So, bisan pag unsa nakalami siyang laag, muuli. And then I would ask my husband, "Lakay, I cannot be with this. I do not have anymore the energy to do this." And it would be done by my husband. So that's family support. Another one. Next one. How did I cope? Talk. It would always be helpful to have a person that you can talk to. Someone who could bear yourself without any mask. Someone who could see you through. And someone who would say things to you, things that it's not the things that you wanted to hear, but the things that you do not want to hear. Luckily for me, I have that person in here in this institution. I could talk to her and she would tell me things that I don't want to hear but are actually realities. So in a way, that helped me cope. And finally, prayers. There is always power in prayer. For the longest time that I have denied this and I have not even thought of suicide. Never in my life have I thought of it. I just suffered my anxiety day in and day out. But in all those years, I have prayers with me. And that I attribute why I was able to cope with all of that. Standing here, I wish to call out to that student who approached me last exam saying, "Ma'am, I cannot take the exam kay nangurog na ko." I looked in her eyes and there is sadness in there and sunken eyes, and I said, "Are you not sleeping?" She said, "Wala kaayo, ma'am." "Bakit ka nanginginig?" "Wala ko kabalo, ma'am, nangurog lang ko." I clasped her hand and said, "You suffering with anxiety?" "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Get help. I'm afraid to tell my parents because I might be a burden." I am calling out to her and to all other students and teachers who are experiencing the same. The excessive worry that we are experiencing is already a sign of an anxiety. We may not acknowledge it because it's not showing physiological or physical symptoms just yet. But don't wait for it, but rather seek help. There is no harm in seeking help. It's not something to be feared, but rather it shows bravery. Being brave because you are facing what is bothering you. It is a brave act because you defy all the norms in the society which says, okay lang yan, pag-iinarte lang yan, it's all in the mind. No, it's not in our mind. It is in our system. The common mental illnesses or mental conditions in these days are actually anxiety and mood disorders. And anxiety, what are those in there? We have OCD, obsessive compulsive behavior. And I have a little of that. Then we also have the post-traumatic experiences, something like the PSTD, if I'm correct. Your experiences in life could have created a trauma in you, but you refuse to acknowledge that one. So, my dear Marians, parents, teachers, students, owning up your anxiety isn't weakness. It's a step towards acceptance. It's a step towards healing. We owe it to the world to continue living because, like one of the speakers saying earlier, they would miss us if we would be gone. So own your emotions. Own your emotions, rather. Get help. Get support. Do not be ashamed. Inspire others. Right now, I am still on medication. But I guess almost graduation. The panic attacks are no longer there. I sleep well. I'm okay, I think. But whenever I drink coffee, then I'm not okay again. Kasi bawal nga ang coffee. Something like that. Okay, I look forward that one day soon, my medication would end. And I have also identified triggers. One of that is stresses. You know what I fear most? I fear being excluded. Being given special treatment. If you are going to give special treatment to people who are undergoing anxiety, you are not helping. all the more you are giving them a reason to be more anxious. Why are we treated special? We are normal just like you. We are normal just like you, so treat us as you would treat anyone the way they should be treated. I am here very vulnerable to whatever this Marian community may accord to me. However, that doesn't pale down the desire in me to help. Be inspired by my story. You do not see it in me, but I have it in me. One of the best lessons that my previous, my previous superior, our principal from the basic ed, told me, learn how to live in the moment. Because living in the moment would make you aware of the moment. Do not think of what is not happening just yet. Live at the moment. That's why every day I thank the Lord I am still alive. And in the evening, I would evaluate, what have I done today? And I would say thanks. I would give thanks. Thank you for all the things that has transpired today. Thank you that I was able to go through everything. And with the one prayer, sustain me that I may be able to do things expected of me as a teacher. I want to end this one by saying we could live happier if we would help one another. Anxiety, again, is not a state of the mind. It is a mental condition. This is your Mom D, Mom Dinah, owning my anxiety and inspiring you to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Dinah, for that very inspiring talk. Let's give Ma'am another round of applause, please. Ma'am's journey is indeed an eye-opener for all of us that stigma on mental health issues should be stopped. Thank you once again for the SMCTI's guidance services for bringing us Marian Talk on Mental Health 2022. Now, help me welcome again Ms. Medlit Ladya to introduce us to our keynote speaker for today.
So, kaya ba? So, our last speaker, as a basic education guidance coach of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated, I am honored and privileged to introduce our keynote speaker. She will give us a talk about mental health, related ideas and information. She graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Psychology in 2017 from the Holy Cross of Davao College. She also gained a diploma here in St. Mary's College of Tagum with a master's degree of guidance and counseling. She is a registered psychometrician and a newly registered guidance counselor. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our keynote speaker, Ms. Rains Eda B. Canlas, RPM, RGC.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Meds, and thank you so much, St. Mary's College of Tagum, for the loving invite. No, I am beyond grateful that I got invited here and have the privilege to talk about mental health. So, once again, good morning, everyone. Praise be Jesus and Mary. To my students, maminaw jud no kay mag-quiz ta pohon. Maminaw. All right. So praying all is well with everyone. Today, let's create a safe space for you to express yourself. I do hope this morning we have the openness of the mind and the heart, and listening and believing will follow. Marians, I would like to thank you once again for celebrating life with me. So before we delve into our main discussion, let's have a breathing exercise. This is called 4-7-8 breathing technique sa CBT. Review. So yun, doing what matters. What mental health needs are more sunlight, metaphorically, more candor, and more unashamed conversation. So let's breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8 seconds. Let's repeat it 3 times. So I do hope our virtual participants will participate in this activity, and we do hope everybody enjoy. So hearing from our beautiful sacred stories of our key resource speakers, no, let's have or take a pause for a moment and have this 4-7-8 breathing technique, all right? So first, second one, all right. So thank you so much for the participation, and to our dear participants in our virtual platform, kindly comment down, ready na ako, because I guess our participants on site are very ready. So this one, mental health issues or mental issues have a lot of faces. I know a person with schizophrenia, body dysmorphia, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, ADHD, anxiety disorder, personality disorder, name it all, eating disorder, sexual disorder. Me, you're curious. Me, I am a daughter of a man who struggled with addiction and had a drug and alcohol problem. But I am also a daughter of a man who is a loving disciplinarian father. Just seeing my face, no, my cute little face, loving jud akong amahan. And a generous dad. Whenever he had money from his driving na work, hatagan jud ko niyag baon. Di na malimtan, natagaan ko niyag baon para nakoy pampalit snacks kada recess. A fantastic cook. Can't deny the fact that my father really cook very well compared to my mom. And a sporty man and a funny dad. And a daddy's girl. It's never easy for me to see him relapse again and again and again. But, listen, he was changed by God's grace, realizing how beautiful life can be lived with our Father's loving arms and mercy. He changed for my mother, for us, for our family, and for God. Despite the flaws, my parents did an excellent job of instilling values in me and providing me love and support. My father is not a perfect father, and so am I, as his daughter. As a teenager, I am far too critical of myself. I am always the sickly child among siblings. We are 3. So to compensate my inferiority complex, I always strive to be the top of my class during basic education days, and on college, a dean's lister. As a result, my eating habit did suffer, and I'm struggling with weight gain and body image issues. My mind was always troubled by negative thoughts. Because being the middle child for me means I always have to do better and better and to never disappoint my family. But it's wrong, really. As a young adult, I was betrayed several times. And I get it when they say healing is messy, for real. One day you are okay, and then the next day you're back to where you started. But what is important is you learn how to live again until finally, we won't need to remind ourselves how to breathe. For now, let's savor the good days, the golden moments, golden times, that we feel most alive until finally we won't need to remind ourselves to breathe again. The first step towards having healthy well-being is awareness. Please take note. Remember that growth starts with you, with me, with each of you. As we go through life, acknowledge any and all feelings that may arise. Let them stay with you for a while. I know it's scary to have different emotions, but I'll tell you a secret. So listen, I'll tell you a secret. Feelings mean you're alive. So let's celebrate living. What is more important? Is it mental health? Is it physical health? It is both. Mental health and physical health are equally important components of our overall well-being, our overall health. Alarmingly, this is a fact from the World Health Organization, from the YMP lead, your millennial psychologist lead, official Facebook page. Alarmingly, 75% of children and young people who experience mental health problems aren't getting the help they need, the psychological help or support they need. Every child needs mental health support. Good mental health helps them develop the resilience to cope and grow into healthy adults. Here in the Philippines, only 3 to 5% of the total health budget is allocated to mental health. And there are only 1,400 psychologists, some of them are in Manila, in Luzon, and 500 psychiatrists in the country. So you know how scarce it is, our population. And I'm hoping, my dear students, our dear mental health advocate, na you really pursue the career and love it. This gives an approximate ratio of 1 psychologist to 80,000 Filipinos. So imagine 1 mental health professional catering 80,000 Filipinos. And there is still stigma associated with mental health conditions. There are times when faced with a crisis or a problem, I think you ask yourself, introspect, you ask yourself if you experience this. Advice such as, ikatulog ra na, mawa ra na ugma, right? Is common. These actions encourage suppressing defense mechanism, suppression. You hide it consciously, no? Because being told, katulog ra na, okay ra na, mawa ra na, dala ra nagtulog, nga ugma, pag mata nimo, mawa ra na, no? And setting aside current emotions. When you suppress your emotions, this is proven correct, no? Scientifically, the problem will not magically go away, but instead has a tendency to manifest at a later time, or to be displaced to other people or situations instead of being resolved. So sometimes, no, there are instances in our lives na pungot kaayo ta and ma-displace na to atong kapungot sa atong iro, sa gamit sa balay, na di na lang ta mag-study kay kapoy. No, there's instances like that na para bang you consciously suppressing your emotions, para setting aside what's real within you. Do you ever wish you could change something about your body? If so, you're not alone. So from our first speaker, she already highlighted the song of Taylor Swift, because I'm a fan of Taylor Swift, Anti-Hero. Several celebrities have been addressing mental health issues, and one of them is Taylor Swift. Taylor uses several platforms to advocate this issue, this sensitive issue. I tell you, you don't need a perfect body to have a good body image. You take good care of your body, you take good care of yourself. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your mind. Health issues, depression, or trauma can really affect how you feel about yourself. And it really affects your relationship with others, your interpersonal relationships, and intrapersonal as well. Tell your parent, reach out to an expert, a doctor, a counselor, a therapist. What you're going through, please bear this in mind. My dear students, our participants, and to the virtual participants, walang kwentong, walang kwenta. Please bear that in mind. Walang kwentong, walang kwenta. You talk to someone. Because you are not alone, you are capable, you are strong, and you are dearly loved. We need to learn and unlearn in self-care. What we need to learn and unlearn in self-care, rather, is that self-care is not selfish, it isn't expensive, it isn't time-consuming, it is not earned, and it is not for women only. Kasi men, society tells na wag mag-emote kasi lalaki ka or nakakaganon, ganyan. That is a stereotype na kailangang makorek. Self-care is giving yourself love and energy so you can help others. It sounds cliche, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can never pour from an empty cup. When you love all that you are, unconditionally, without any conditions of worth, life reflects that back to you. When you learn to love yourself fully, 100%, million%, and a lot of love, Jude, for yourself, you create a happy, loving environment to flourish in. Talking to your loved ones, for example, laughing with your siblings, laughing with your friends, classmates, colleagues, or just listening to your favorite song is self-care. Self-care is for everyone. Why is there's this question na talagang nag-bother sa akin. Why is there so much stigma attached to mental illness when there is no stigma attached to other diseases like cancer, for example? It's not unusual to hear people describe a person with mental illness as weak, ay tapulan, lazy, violent, ay violente, di ta manuol, dira kay violente, di ta mudula na ang tawhana kay violente, or unmotivated. Stigma restricts someone to seek treatment. An untreated mental illness robs people the quality of life. This is stigma at its worst. This is stigma that discriminates. Mental illnesses are real illnesses. It's not a joke, it's not gawa-gawa kasi OA, ka-OA-han. It's not for us, no, na musabay sa trend just to use certain hashtags in social media or maging bandwagon. It's a brain chemistry that contributes to psychological illness, manifesting physiologically. Reducing stigma saves lives. What mental health needs are more unashamed conversation just like this. Kaya I truly appreciate St. Mary's College of Tagum, our administrators, our middle administrators, our guidance counselors, all of the staff of St. Mary's, because we have this avenue, for example, allowing the students, allowing the staffs, the employees of St. Mary's College of Tagum to really express themselves and talk about mental health. We can still, as a Marians, I ask you, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? Unsa may pwede natong mabuhaton as a Marian? Listen and learn about mental health, because it's not just a learning for psychology major students or psychology major department. It's not just for them, but for everyone as well. We can also be advocates, not just in school, of having such avenue to talk about it. We can be advocate in our home with our siblings, no? School, aside from that, our workplace, and our community. Let's refuse to let stigma and shame silence us. We held up mental illness as something to be discussed and treated, and not something to whisper about, shame of, or make fun of. It's never funny to talk about mental illness, especially when you talk to someone, talk to a person with mental health condition. So let's educate ourselves. Let's know the common myths about emotions and mental disorders and what are the facts. First myth, stress looks the same for everyone, and all we have to do is avoid it every time. Until there is no physical symptom, it's not stress. So you see, ma-hurt man sa taong maka-feel tag stress, inana ang panlantaw sa ubang tao. It's a myth, and the fact is, magkakaiba ang stress para sa iba't ibang individual. Hindi ito dapat katakutan because it helps us balance our daily life. Stress is part of being human. It's part of our human experience to feel stress. Kasi hindi ka tao kapag hindi ka rin mai-stress. Diba? Hindi ka estudyante kung hindi ka mai-stress sa ACADS. No? So to experience stress is a human experience. We can respond positively to stress through practice of meditations, listening to podcasts, eating a balanced meal, getting adequate rest, and having a good support system to your family, to your circle of friends, your colleagues in your workplace, and beyond. And then the next myth, depression is an excuse to being lazy. Bad things happen and are upsetting. If you can't get over it, then you are weak. A myth na kailangang i-correct. The fact is, depression is a disease of the brain. Take note of that. Hindi yan pag-iinarte. It's not a character trait na depressed na siya na tao. Ana, parang kumbaga, nag-serve as an adjective na, to define someone na, or judge or stereotype someone na may depression. It is the second leading cause of disability worldwide. Take note of that. According to the World Health Organization, it's the second leading cause of disability worldwide. Depression and depressive feelings can worsen over time if left untreated. However, treatment and intervention can help individual get back to their daily routines. Third myth, people with bipolar disorder are just moody and reckless. Their mania can be fun because of their energy. This myth I would like you to correct is that, girls are so moody, they are very bipolar. No, they not. They're not bipolar. They're not clinically diagnosed as a person with bipolar disorder. Sadyang moody lang talaga kasi yung hormones, biologically, physiologically, and all. But the fact is, bipolar disorder is having not just mania, not just high level of energy, but low moods as well. There are down times for those people with bipolar disorder. Kasi there are two types of bipolar disorder. Talagang may mga bipolar disorders na it's not just having always the high level of energy. Meron din talagang downtime or low moods, tinatawag. This mania can give someone increased energy, but it also makes them feel out of control. Hindi lamang zeal, hindi lamang zest ang feelings nila, hindi nila nakokontrol yan. Kasi if they desire to stop it, dili agad-agad mawala ang feeling or high level of energy na meron sila. It is also caused by chemical imbalances in the brain and not a character flaw. The next myth, OCD. OCD is being obsessive-compulsive disorder. OCD is being obsessively tidy or clean, which we can all be. Sino ba naman ang gustong maging makalat lahat ng mga bagay niya, right? So, people with OCD just wash their hands too often. Pag-iinarte lang yan. But the fact is, OCD is a complex disorder. We cannot just resolve it in a snap of our finger. Or kapag, if we desire to not clean our hands, kapag may OCD is, mapugngan nila, no. They cannot resist the urge. They cannot resist the obsessive thoughts of always cleaning your hands or closing the doors or always checking out your gas stoves, lahat-lahat ng mga gamit sa bahay na kailangan arrange talaga, no? OCD, maraming compulsions ang OCD. Please take note of that according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders that can really disrupt daily life. These actions are often a way for an individual to assert control over distressing thoughts that can cause them severe anxiety. So people first language. Studies show that better understanding of the experiences of people with mental health concerns can reduce or eliminate stigma and discrimination. Using person-first language is a great place to start. So as Marians, take note of this. Use people-first language. It helps validate individuals without reducing them to a diagnosis or condition. So instead of saying, budoy, buang, bulok, bungol, naisakit sa utok, no? And all of our tagging of a person with mental disorders, no? Be aware and try saying, a person with mental health condition. Alright? They are not bugo, they are not bulok, they are not dugay kasabot, they are not budoy, no? But they are person with mental health or psychological health conditions. Using people-first language focuses on the individual rather than perceived limitations. We should not limit, so we should be aware, no? Do not limit those people with disability with their disability. So not all scars can be seen. if you know someone who needs a hand or you're that someone, you reach out. I majored psychology and guidance and counseling, but I am not ashamed of seeking help from another fellow counselor for counseling when I need it. I am not ashamed to reach out to my mentors because there are really a time of my life na naga-breakdown ako. Even if I majored, even if I'm fully aware with all this mental health issues, disorders, and all, there is no shame in seeking help. We all need it for good mental health. Never attempt to self-diagnose, please. Never attempt to self-diagnose. Kaya if may mga activities kami sa klase, I always tell this to my students, please do not self-diagnose if you have these such results, because psychological assessment isn't just an assessment for one certain test. There are a lot of methods to use so you can accurately, reliably, validly write a psychological report to a client. So the internet cannot diagnose your mental illness. Seek professional help, not in TikTok, not in Google, not in Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. So not everyone who seeks psychological help are, please take note of this, not everyone who seeks psychological help are psychotic or depressed. There are patients who are professionals. There are patients that are a mother, an engineer, a doctor, a professional, an employer, an employee. No? Because they seek help not because they are depressed or psychotic or lunatic, but they seek help to improve their overall well-being. Like, they want to address their concern about irregular sleep patterns, for example, financial mismanagement, for example, impulsive buying sa kaka-Shopee, sa kaka-Lazada, and all, procrastination, prolonged grief, overthinking, and etc. We have mental health professionals from St. Mary's College of Tagum Guidance Center. We also have here in Tagum City, Hiraya Diwa Psychological Service. So whatever information I'll provide, I'll be giving it to our dear counselors, and then I'll make sure na well provided ang participants with this. And then another is the National Mental Health Center of the DOH. And lastly, the SPMC Institute of Psychiatry and Behavioral Medicine in Davao City. You can gain access to mental health in online platform, telecommunication, text and call, or in person. Make yourself a high priority. Always make yourself a high priority. Because again and again, you can't pour from an empty cup. But in this trying time, who helps the helper? Kasi, ma'am, paano naman kami? Yung mga guidance counselors, teachers, administrators, employers natin, paano naman kami? Or yung mga guidance advocate natin, mental health advocate namin, paano naman kami? Yung mga classmate natin, always there, no? Always there to help us to listen to whatever stories we are sharing. Paano naman ako? Paano naman kami? As administrator, a teacher, a counselor, a helping colleague, a helping classmate, a helper has empathy as an essential personal trait needed to be able to provide help. For example, our teachers and counselors have to help our students deal not just the academic aspect of our students, but also mental health. Our counselors, our personal, social, academic, educational, career concerns, dinudulog natin sa mga guidance counselors natin. Kapag may problema sa ACADS, dinudulog natin agad sa mga teachers natin. So these affects helpers' emotional and behavioral well-being because nobody is bulletproof. So kinds of problems the helpers can face: compassion fatigue, secondary PTSD or secondary post-traumatic stress disorder, and vicarious PTSD. So what should we do about it? How do helper cope then? A helper needs mental health counseling too. A counselor needs counseling too. A helping classmate also needs help. A teacher and administrator also needs help. Being the wounded healer is so controversial na sometimes we do not discuss about it. But this conversation gives sound reason to engage in self-care. Nobody's bulletproof, again and again. The care that helpers provide others can only be as good. Take note of this. The help or the care the helpers provide others can only be as good as the care they provide to themselves. To my fellow helpers, please don't be discouraged by the harsh and sometimes cruel realities of the world. We are bearers of hope. No matter how stressful, no matter how difficult, how exasperating it is, don't get tired of fighting a good fight. And do it with patience, love, and integrity. Let's continue to keep our mental fortitude strong. Allow me to share these practical skills to help you cope up with adversity, to help you cope up with stress. Again, from a reliable source from the World Health Organization still. Doing what matters in times of stress. First, grounding. What is grounding? So there's an image there with a tree and two humans and roots. Grounding. Ground yourself during emotional storms by noticing your thoughts and feelings. Slowing down and connecting your body by slowly pushing your feet into the floor and stretching and breathing and then refocusing and engaging with the world around you. Kaya with our mentors then, we are always told after counseling, you go outside and then you hug a tree or you look somewhere na may greenery para ma-refresh ka, para ma-energize ka as a counselor right after counseling, right after a counseling session. And then notice where you are. You look around, notice where you are, who is with you, and what you are doing. Grounding is especially useful during stressful situations or emotional storms. You can also practice grounding when you simply have 1 or 2 minutes available. Kaya doing mindfulness technique doesn't need you to have silent room para magkaroon or you do a mindfulness activity. Just like, for example, here, in your small spaces, no, in your own comfort, you do mindfulness na para bang you relax yourself, no, you recognize your breathing, make sure na you are relaxing, not just because I told you to relax, but because it's a desire for you to relax. That's mindfulness activity. Second is, so that's grounding. Second is unhooking. Like literally, you unhook yourself, no? Unhook yourself with these 3 steps. Notice that a difficult thought or feeling has hooked you. Ay, na-stress ako sa work, na-stress ako sa ACADS. Then, unhook yourself. Realize that you are distracted by a difficult thought or feeling and notice it with curiosity. You notice it and then you silently name it. Then silently name the difficult thought or feeling. For example, here is a difficult feeling na I need to address. I am stressed now with all my works, with all my activities in class, researching, reviewing, and all. You notice it and you name it. You recognize it. Like for example, again, there is a tightness of inside my chest or in my chest because I have this feeling of anxiety rushing all over my body, or because there are so much thing to do in my ACADS, hindi ko na alam anong ipa-priority ko. Then we focus on what you are doing. Pay full attention to whoever is with you and whatever you are doing. Third, acting on your values. Choose the values that are most important to you. This is what I always inculcate to my students na what are your core values? What are your personal core values? And allow these core values to guide you. Baka sometimes baka ma-disregard natin yung mga values na ito, na kailangan ma-reawaken. No, like for example, being kind, being caring, being helpful, being brave, being hardworking. You get to decide which values are most important to you. Excellence, service, faith. Then pick one small way that you can act according to these values in the next week, for example. What will you do? What will you say? Because even tiny actions matter. Kaya hindi natin alam, yung mga tinutulungan nating matandang tumawid sa daan, that is a simple act for you, but for them, they treasured it. They really treasured it. Or your classmate na walang pang-almusal, or your teacher na walang pang-almusal pero binigyan mo ng snack in between your discussion kasi ikaw lang ang walang makain, that is a simple act of kindness. And please take note, there's a certain person or that person is na-appreciate ka talaga, tunay, genuinely. Fourth, being kind. Be kind always. Notice pain in yourself and others and respond it with kindness. Unhook from unkind thoughts by noticing and naming them. Take note of these mental hooks I am telling you. Notice and name and recognize. Then try speaking to yourself kindly. Instead of saying, di ko ni kaya lagi na ko ni. Mo-absent na lang ko kay kapoy. Dili, mahalag kapoy, maningkamot ko. If you are kind to yourself, you will have more energy to help others and more motivation to be kind to others. So, you see, everyone benefits. You can also take one of your hands and imagine filling it with kindness. Place this hand gently somewhere on your body when you feel pain. Like imagine, you're holding kindness and you feel something inside you feeling pain. Like, I am heartbroken, so I feel my heart with kindness. I feel pain sa likod ko, so I'll give pat on my back with kindness. And para bang nahihilo ako or sakit akong ulo, then I feel my mind with kindness. Or aside from that, if you're watching this certain series, then it's okay not to be okay, Korean series, you give yourself a butterfly hug. If you don't have somebody around you, you give yourself a butterfly hug. This, for example. It really suits you. That is such an example of a self-soothing technique. Hindi paru-paru jiha. It's a butterfly hug. Feel the warmth flowing from your hand into your body. Then fifth, making room. Not making room para parang literally magkakwarto ka, but making room, ha? It's a mind setting. We're talking about here mind setting, psychological concepts na i-apply natin sa buhay natin. Trying to push away difficult thoughts and feelings, no? Trying to push away difficult thoughts and feelings often not work very well. So instead, make room for them. Para bang I'm having stressful moments, so I name it, I recognize it, no? And hayaan ko na mangyari sa akin itong stressful situations because it's a part of life that I need to face, I need to name, I need to recognize, and I need to process healthily. Notice the difficult thoughts or feeling with curiosity. Focus your attention on it. Imagine the painful feeling as an object, for example, and notice its size, its shape, its color, and temperature. So here's stress. I'm naming it EDA, for example. So I recognize it, again, I name it, I notice it, I process it, and address the concern healthily. Name the difficult thought or feeling, for example, here is a difficult feeling, here is a difficult situation, experience about my past. I notice here is sadness. I notice here is joy. Allow the painful feeling or thought to come and go. So those are the practical recommendations from the World Health Organization. Making room, being kind, acting on your values, unhooking, and grounding. So, I leave you with these questions to ponder. How will you apply what you have learned in today's session to the different areas of your life? So kindly use these hashtags to our virtual participants and later to our on-site face-to-face participants. Use this hashtag, learn something new and Friday thoughts. Hashtag, learn something new, hashtag Friday thoughts. And do not forget to tag SMCTI Guidance Center so we can have these healthy conversations for real about mental health and breaking stigma. Learn something new, Friday thoughts. So before I end my talk, allow me to share this beautiful scripture and song. But Marians, please listen. The next time you hear about the word mental, do not just think about a crazy person. Think about me. So here is this beautiful scripture I would like to share. Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, because of our anxieties, stress, and all the unwanted thoughts we are feeling or feeding inside our mind. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. What a beautiful scripture. So I would like to end with this beautiful song.
Love, I am right here. Don't you believe what the enemy tries so hard to make you believe? You're not alone. Never will be, 'cause even when you feel lost, you'll be found in me. I hear all your cries, I know all the lies. Stay with me, and don't just close your eyes. Don't be afraid. I'll take all the bullets for you. Though you feel tired
Thank you so much, Marian. Praying all is well with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Renz, for that knowledge-filled and heartwarming thought. Mental health discussions are never dull with Ma'am Renz. It really sparks up our burning desire to be a help for others. We are beyond grateful for the learnings you have shared with us, ma'am. And at this juncture, may I request our guidance services staffs to please come on stage for the giving of token and certificates. Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Mede Anthony A. Palero for extending her valuable time and imparting her knowledge to the personnel and students of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated as the institutional Marian Talk on Mental Health Resource Speakers held on October 28, 2022. Signed, Sir Ronald P. Ramos, RGC Guidance Head. The same certificate of appreciation is presented to Maria Camila Julia Q. Palmahil for extending her valuable time and imparting her knowledge to the personnel and students of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated as the institutional Marian Talk on Mental Health Resource Speaker held on October 28, 2022, signed by Sir Ronald P. Ramos, RGC, signed Ma'am Gina Oracion, PhD, Vice President for the Academic Affairs, and signed by Sister Maria Marilu B. Madronero, RVM School President. Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Rose Faith O. Tinay for extending her valuable time and imparting her knowledge to the personnel and students of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated as the institutional Marian Talk on Mental Health Resource Speaker held on October 28, 2022. Signed, Sir Ronald P. Ramos, RGC Guidance Head. Signed, Ma'am Gina M. Oracion, PhD, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and signed by Sister Maria Marilu B. Madronero, RPM School President. Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Ma'am Dinah L. Nival, LPT MAED, for extending her valuable time and imparting her knowledge to the personnel and students of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated as the institutional Marian Talk on Mental Health Resource Speaker held on October 28, 2022. Signed, Sir Ronald P. Ramos, RGC, Guidance Head, signed by Ma'am Gina M. Oracion, PhD, Vice President for Academic Affairs, and signed by Sister Maria B. Marilu Madronero, RVM School President. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby given to Ma'am Renz Eda Marie B. Canlas, RPM, RGC, for extending her valuable time and imparting her knowledge to the personnel and students of St. Mary's College of Tagum Incorporated as the institutional Marian Talk on Mental Health keynote speaker held on October 28, 2022. Signed by Sir P. Ramos, Guidance Head. Signed by Ma'am Gina F. Orashon, Vice President, Academic Affairs, and signed by Sister Marilu B. Madronero, RBM School President. At this time, before we call end to this program, let us hear the closing remarks from the Director of Guidance Services, the one and only Mr. Ronald P. Ramos, RGC. A big round of applause, please.
Good morning, praise be Jesus and Mary. To our school president, Sister Maria Marilo Madonero, RBM. To our BPAA, Gina Orashon, LPT. To the department heads, to the management council, to our liberal arts students, online viewers, to Sir Roy, Sir Iner, personnel and staff, good morning. As a counselor, it is always overwhelming to be able to listen to every sacred story of client that I have. I told myself, there will come a time that these will be heard. And inspire people, because these people, these clients are suffering and yet ignited to inspire, to break the stigma of mental health. These speakers that we have are not strong, but they are simply courageous to speak out and thus help those people who are in the same boat. And this day has come. Today, we achieved an important milestone. Today, we are not alone. Today, we are not a silent minority. Today, our voice is heard. There are a few insights that I would like to highlight following today's discussions as taking home messages. Putting their own wisdom into my words. Indeed, our mental health is not solely determined by biological or behavioral factors within one's control, but it is also influenced by a delicate collection of interacting systems at various levels, including interpersonal, lack of institutional support, community, and public policy, which can be a source of stress or resilience. Our mental health is more than just what's in our head. It is shaped by our personal history, our finances, our chosen behaviors, the people we surround ourselves with, our community, and even global events. Many of these layers go beyond what's in one's control, and in fact, are out of person's control and require systemic change and overhauls to ameliorate. Mental health is physical health and vice versa. It is not simply a cluster of unwanted feelings of self-depreciating thoughts. Though all of these additional layers contributing to mental health may appear bleak, by acknowledging the real challenges which exist, communities may be uplifted and empowered. Help me start it. Accurate awareness, though uncomfortable at times, is one step closer to problem solving and creating generalizable interventions that can only withstand socio-ecological challenges but reshape the landscape of these environments that we are in to create a more proactive and equitable health environment for all. Before I end this, allow me to share a therapy so personal to me, a therapy that I am using in counseling, and that is the Gestalt therapy. The term Gestalt is derived from a German word that means whole or put together. The point of this is, do not look yourself as a broken piece, but as a whole. I always said this to my counseling clients and students. Kung sino pa itong pira-piraso, siya pa itong nagmamahal ng buong buo. Halika, buuin natin muli ang iyong sarili. Hayaan mo akong samahan kita. I found those words very powerful from Gestalt therapy. As we had this fruitful discussion here today, I would like to close this day with an appeal to the assembly, to the institution, and to each one of you to consider discussing this important matter, that no one is exempted, and be part of breaking the stigma of mental health. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Everyone wanted to be heard, but don't have the courage to do so. Thank you so much to each one of you to pave the way of making this institutional activity a priority, if not a global health priority. Thank you so much, Amitur.
Thank you so much, Sir Ronald, for those empowering words. Once again, the saying, all good things must come to an end, has come. Thank you to the SMCTI's Guidance Services, spearheaded by Sir Ronald, for bringing us Marian Talk on Mental Health to commemorate the Mental Health Month. So let us now seal this program with a closing prayer through an audio-visual presentation.
Shopee 1111 Mega Pamasko Sale.
Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not stay afraid. It is really I whom you see. I offer you now my peace. I have waited for this moment to be with you again. In my heart you'll remain. In your heart I'll stay. I am with you till the end of your days. I am in you. Have faith that I hold you even when you let go. And I love you, you must know. I am here. I am never with you. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not stay afraid. I'm beyond all anguish, all death. I'm risen to life anew. When you feel that you've been empty and can give no more, know that I am your breath and I fill your soul.
Congratulations to each and every one of us in completing the event. We hope we all acquired important learnings from this event. Attendance link and event form can be found pinned on the live stream. Thank you so much once again, and I am Aurora Patrice Ofelia Husay, the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.